It's 1872 on an old wooden ship braving the savage Atlantic. The ocean's rough, winds howl like banshees, and every creak of the hull feels like the sea's daring you to give up. The ship is stuffed with barrels of raw booze bound for Europe, and the crew's an experienced bunch, hardened by years of salt and storms. With a captain who sailed through hell, his wife keeping the mood light, and even their toddler toddling about the deck, what could possibly go wrong? It's not like everyone would just up and vanish one day, right? This is the mystery of the Mary Celeste, the ghost ship that's haunted sailors and storytellers for over 150 years. A case so creepy, it'll make your skin crawl. Welcome to History Unfolded. Let's get started. It's November 1872 and the Mary Celeste, a 100-foot brigantine, sits in New York's gritty harbor, surrounded by the smell of dockworkers' fish and tar. She's no showboat, 2 masts, patched sails, planks scarred from years at sea, but she's tough, built to haul cargo through the Atlantic's deadliest waters. Her latest job is to carry 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol to Italy. The cargo's worth a fortune, about $35,000 in 1872, enough to buy a fancy house or a fleet of carriages at the time. The ship's owner, James Winchester, is worried about this run. One mistake and he's ruined, so he's stacked the deck with a crew that can handle anything. Leading the team is Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs. He's a legend, having sailed since he was a teenager, commanding ships through the toughest of storms for years. He's a teetotaler, a devout Christian who reads the Bible to his crew every Sunday. His logbooks are obsessively precise, every wave, every knot scribbled like a monk's manuscript. He's brought his family along, Sarah, his wife, a tough New Englander who played hymns on a harmonium to keep spirits up, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophie. Their 7-year-old son Arthur stays home with Grandma. Lucky kid, considering the nightmare that awaits them. The crew's a solid 7, handpicked for grit. First mate Albert Richardson is a genius with navigation, reading the stars like a poet. Second mate Andrew Gilling knows the Atlantic's moods better than any. The steward Edward Head doubles as the cook and the galley. 4 German sailors, brothers Volkert and Ariane Lorenzen, Gottlieb Gutschard and Boz Lorenzen, round out the team. They're tough, with calloused hands and years of hauling ropes in gales. The Mary Celeste is no pleasure cruise, it's a floating grind. The crew bunks below in damp, creaky beds, the air sour with mildew. Briggs' family shares a small cabin, Sarah's sewing machine and Sophie's toys crammed beside a harmonium. Life on the ship is raw, but they're prepared. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste shoves off from New York, her hold packed with those alcohol barrels, each lashed tight to survive the pounding seas. The weather's horrid, gales and rain lash the coast, but Briggs logs it as manageable, nothing his crew can't handle. Sarah writes home joking about the choppy waves, but saying she's proud to sail with her husband. Sophia's waddling around, probably charming the Germans with her toddling antics. The plan's clear: sail southeast, past the Azores, slip through the Strait of Gibraltar, and dock in Genoa. It's a 3,000-mile slog, 3 to 4 weeks if the wind plays nice. Nothing too crazy. What could possibly go wrong? The crew falls into their rhythm, hoisting sails, scrubbing decks, pumping bilge water from the hold. Briggs plots the course by sextant under starlight. Sarah plays soft hymns in the cabin, and the men trade stories of past voyages. Storms off Cape Horn, near misses with icebergs, the usual stuff over cups of bitter coffee. Days and nights pass, the horizon endless, the sea both friend and foe. Everything seems fine, or so they think. It would be the last time anyone ever heard from them. Fast forward a month to December 5th, 1872, another ship, the Dei Gratia, is slicing through the Atlantic, about 400 miles east of the Azores. Her captain, David Morehouse, spots a vessel, drifting like a lost soul, sails loose, no one at the helm. He squints through his spyglass. It's the Mary Celeste. Morehouse knows her. He dined with Briggs in New York before they sailed, swapping tales over a table. Something's wrong though. No signal flags, no crew on deck, just the ship lurching like it's forgotten its purpose. Morehouse hails her, shouting across the waves. Silence. He sends a boarding party. First mate Oliver DeVoe and 2 sailors check it out. DeVoe climbs aboard, stepping onto a deck as empty as a ghost town. The wheel spins free, ropes slap the mast, and the only sound is the ocean lapping at the ship's sides. They call for Briggs, Sarah, anyone. Nothing but the wind answers. Below deck, it's like time stopped. The captain's cabin has Sarah's sewing machine, a half-finished dress pinned with needles, and Sophia's wooden toys, a tiny horse and a ragdoll scattered on the floor. The harmonium's open to a hymn, Nearer My God to Thee, like Sarah played it mid-verse. The crew's bunks are a mess, clothes, pipes, a razor with dried lather, like someone shaved and walked away. The galley's got a stale loaf of bread and a pot of cold stew. Briggs's logbook lies open on his desk, last entry dated November 25th, 1872 at 8 a.m., placing them 100 miles west of the Azores. It notes clear weather, steady sailing, nothing hinting at disaster. Here's where it gets chilling. The ship is seaworthy. Yes, there's 3 feet of water in the hold, but the pumps are working and she's not sinking. The cargo's mostly intact, 1,701 barrels of alcohol, though 1 hatch is open and 9 barrels are empty. The lifeboat's gone, along with the ship's papers, a sextant and a chronometer for navigation. The sails are torn, rigging's tangled, and the compass is smashed. Its glass cracked like someone took a hammer to it. A rope trails in the water, knotted like it was tied to something. Maybe the lifeboat. No blood, no signs of a fight, no bodies. 10 people, Briggs, Sarah, Sophia, and 7 crewmen vanished into the deep. It's the kind of thing that makes your blood run cold. Morehouse's crew tows the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar, where the British authorities launch a full-scale investigation. This is a big deal. A missing crew, a valuable cargo, and a ship drifting in the middle of nowhere. Frederick Flood, a hard-nosed Gibraltar official, heads the court of inquiry. They scour the ship, question DeVoe and Morehouse, and dig into every splinter. The log shows no major storms after November 25th, just routine entries. A sword under Briggs's bed has a stain. Blood? No. Tests say it's rust. The alcohol barrels are checked. Those 9 empty ones likely leaked, not sabotaged. The hull isn't damaged either. No bullet holes or axe marks. Flood finds a log slate, a chalkboard for rough notes mentioning foul weather on November 24, but it's vague, no details. The trailing rope raises eyebrows. Was it tied to the lifeboat, then cut? No distress signals, no clues, just a ship frozen in time, like the crew stepped out for a second and never came back. So what happened? Why would 10 people, including a toddler, abandon a seaworthy ship in the middle of the Atlantic? Let's check into the theories, and believe you me, they're wild. Though not as wild as you hitting that like button and subscribing for more mysteries. Let us know any of your theories in the comments. The official report, filed in 1873, pushes the lifeboat theory. Flood's team figures Briggs saw troubles, maybe a storm or a leak, and ordered everyone into the lifeboat, thinking the ship was doomed. Early in the voyage, Briggs logged gales off New York. Rough, but survivable. By November 25th, the hold's 3 feet of water might have seemed worse than it was. Wooden ships leak, pumps clog, and Briggs had his family to protect. Maybe he grabbed Sarah, Sophia, the crew, and the navigation tools, aiming for the Azores, 100 miles away. A storm could have swamped the lifeboat, leaving no trace. The missing lifeboat, papers, sextant, and chronometer back this up. But here's the rub. Briggs was a seasoned captain. He'd sailed through worse than 3 feet of water. Why panic, and why no log entry screaming, "We're sinking"? Let's talk about that cargo. Those 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol were nasty, denatured, toxic, and flammable as hell. One theory says a vapor leak freaked Briggs out. If those 9 empty barrels sprang leaks, fumes could have built up in the hold, especially in warm Atlantic waters. Maybe Briggs smelled something, feared an explosion, and ordered everyone off. A small blast, vapors igniting without wrecking the ship, could explain the open hatch, maybe an attempt to vent the hold. In 1873, a chemist tested the barrels and found no burn marks, but a spark could have spooked the crew without leaving evidence. Still, Briggs had hauled dodgy cargoes before. Whale oil, gunpowder. Would a whiff of fumes make him ditch a sound ship? And why leave it sailing, a hazard to others? Mutiny's a grimmer angle. Life at sea was no picnic. 14-hour shifts, rancid food, damp bunks, and Briggs's strict rules. No booze, prayers mandatory. The German sailors far from home might have bristled under his Bible-thumping style. Could they have snapped, killed Briggs, Sarah, and Sophia, then fled in the lifeboat? The scene doesn't fit though. There's no blood, no broken furniture, no missing valuables. The crew left personal gear, pipes, boots, and that razor with lather. Mutineers usually loot or scuttle the ship, and these guys had clean records. But the log's silence for 10 days after November 25th leaves room for trouble. Maybe tensions boiled over, a shouting match, a shove, then chaos. Still, there's no proof. Piracy's another suspect. The Atlantic in 1872 wasn't a pirate's playground, but smugglers and rogue ships prowled. Could a vessel have boarded the Mary Celeste, kidnapped the crew and left the cargo? Flood suspected the Dei Gratia. Maybe Morehouse staged the find to claim salvage rights, worth thousands. But Morehouse and Briggs were friends, and the Dei Gratia's log places them miles away when the Mary Celeste went quiet. Pirates wouldn't leave 1,701 barrels of booze behind either, and the ship showed no signs of a raid, no forced locks, no bullet holes. That trailing rope, though, could it have been a boarding line cut loose? Now let's get spooky. The Mary Celeste was near the Azores on the edge of the Bermuda Triangle shadow. Sailors in 1872 swapped tales of sea monsters, giant squid, krakens, or rogue waves that could swallow a lifeboat whole. Maritime lore whispered of the Flying Dutchman, a cursed ship doomed to sail forever, its crew lost to the deep. Some speculated a waterspout, an ocean tornado, sucked the crew off the deck, leaving the ship untouched. The smashed compass, torn sails, and that knotted rope fuel that theory. Azores fishermen later claimed that they saw strange lights in the sky that November, glowing orbs hovering over the sea. UFOs? It's a long shot for 1872, but the log's 10-day gap leaves your imagination running wild. Could something unnatural have happened out there, something Briggs couldn't write down? The mental toll's no joke either. Weeks at sea, storms battering the hull, the endless creak of timber. It could fray even the toughest nerves. Briggs's log stops at November 25th. What went down in those missing days? Sarah's letters mention seasickness and worry for Sophia. A toddler crying through a gale isn't exactly calming. The crew cooped up in a 100-foot ship might have clashed, maybe over Briggs's rules or the Germans' broken English, causing misunderstandings. Could the isolation have pushed someone over the edge? Briggs, stressed about his family, might have misjudged the hold's water, thinking the ship was doomed. But abandoning a seaworthy ship, leaving toys, clothes, and food behind, feels like more than a breakdown. It feels like a ghost story. Then there's the theory that's pure nightmare fuel, whispered by Azores locals and hinted at in lesser-known Dei Gratia crewmen's accounts. According to a sailor's letter found years later in a London archive, one of Morehouse's men swore he saw marks on the Mary Celeste's deck, faint, irregular scratches near the lifeboat's davits, like something heavy was dragged. Azores folklore tells of sea spirits, vengeful entities tied to ancient shipwrecks, said to lure sailors into the deep with hypnotic lights or whispers on the wind. What if the crew had seen those glowing orbs reported by fishermen, mistaking them for a ship in distress? Maybe they launched the lifeboat to investigate, only to be drawn into the abyss by something no log could explain. The sailor's letter mentions a cold feeling on the Mary Celeste, like the ship was watching them. No evidence backs this up, of course, but those scratches and the empty ship's eerie silence make you wonder, did the Atlantic hide something darker than a storm? What are your theories? Let us know in the comments. Afterwards, the Mary Celeste didn't vanish quietly. Salvaged and refitted, she sailed again, but her curse stuck. Crews called her bad luck. One captain died aboard in 1873. Another ran her aground in 1885, torching her for insurance money. The press in 1872 went wild, spinning tales of steaming coffee and half-eaten meals. Mostly fiction, but it cemented her legend. Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes genius, wrote a fictional story in 1884, J. Habakkuk Jefferson's Statement. Blending fact and fantasy about a cursed ship, it made the Mary Celeste the ghost ship everyone knew, from London pubs to New York docks. The mystery kept drawing curious minds. In 1882, a lifeboat washed up in Morocco with bones and a sextant, but no link to the Mary Celeste was proven. In 1913, a sailor claimed he'd met an old man in Spain who said he was Volkert Lorenzen, claiming the crew survived but scattered, living in secret. No records backed it up, probably a hoax. In 2001, a diver found a wreck off of Haiti, thought to be the Mary Celeste, but tests proved it was another ship. The Gibraltar archives hold Briggs's log, its final entry November 25th, 38 degrees north, 17 degrees west, hauntingly normal. Sarah's sister wrote years later, I hear Sophia's laugh in my dreams, but the sea keeps its secrets. Even though much is unknown, the Mary Celeste changed maritime history. After 1872, ship owners tightened safety rules, more lifeboats, better pumps, stricter logs. But for the families, Sarah's parents, the Lorenzens' kin in Germany, the lack of answers was a wound that never healed. The Mary Celeste's legacy is its silence. No bodies, no lifeboat, no truth. Was it a rogue wave, a vapor scare, mutiny, something the log couldn't capture? Did Briggs make a fatal call, or did the Atlantic hide a secret no one could explain? The ship sailed on, but her 10 souls vanished into the deep. For over 150 years, the Mary Celeste has haunted the seas, and it doesn't look like she'll be giving up her secrets anytime soon. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more creepy tales. We'll see you next time.